Hey everyone, my name is Michael, and I am a real fan of animals. Since my childhood, I had spent a lot of time reading books about them, asked my parents to take me to the zoo regularly, and, of course, begged them to buy a pet for me. And finally, they gave me a cat. Today, I will tell you a strange story about how my cat started to turn into a human. I've wanted a pet for years, but my parents could not give me such a gift for various reasons. At first, we lived in a rented apartment, and then my younger sister was born. So all I could do was watch documentaries about animals and reading books about them. And finally, it happened. A month ago, I was given a black cat. I named her Betty. My parents got her from the animal shelter, so she was a little scared. We soon became friends. Betty moved into my room. She was nice to me more than to anyone else. Of course, she did not offend my parents or sister, but she treated them rather coldly. Her feelings about me were much warmer. But then I began to notice that Betty was behaving a little strangely. She started to hide from me in the closet and in other dark places of the house. When I could find her, she used to run away and look for a new place to hide. I did not pay much attention to this, assuming that Betty was simply adapting to a new place of living and a little worried about the change of scenery. In the evenings, she still used to come back to my bed. We even watched horror movies together on my laptop. It was not that scary to watch them with Betty by my side. After a couple of days, Betty's behavior got weirder. She stopped eating her cat food and paid much attention to the food of our family. Veterinarians believed that cats should not be given human food, but I decided it was better to give her harmful food than to just let her die from hunger. And then it happened. That night, I slept restlessly because Betty left my bed for several hours. I began to worry because, since the day she got to our house, Betty used to sleep only in my room. So I got up and went to the kitchen to find Betty. What I saw there impressed me deeply. A girl with black hair was standing by the refrigerator. She was eating our sausage and muttering something to herself. I collected myself and turned on the light to get a better view of the night thief. The girl shuddered and turned to me. It had immediately come to my attention that she had an unusual eye color. Her eyes were yellow. I have never seen such eyes before. At that moment, I assumed that the strange girl was wearing contact lenses. I asked the girl who she was and what she was doing in our house. In response, she closed the refrigerator and sat down on a chair. I discovered that she was wearing a strange dress that looked like a fur coat. "My name is Lana," she said, but I didn't recognize the name. Why did she tell me her name? What did she mean? I was really very close to calling my parents and the police. What if this girl took not only the sausage from us, but something more valuable as well? Lana's eyes flashed suddenly. I was really shocked to see such a sharp demonstration of her skills. "What was that? Are you a monster?" I asked. Of course, I did not rule out the possibility that I had hallucinations, and it could also be just a moon flare that suddenly fell on Lana's face. But those thoughts disappeared when Lana's eyes flashed again. I immediately remembered the last horror movie I saw. She asked me not to scream and pointed to a chair. It was just about the time I was about to go off into a faint. And I still haven't found Betty, too. What if this strange Lana did something to her? I got the answer to my question about the cat when Lana meowed. Then she did it again and again. Finally, she began to purr, which totally confused me. Lana said that she was my cat Betty. Of course, I didn't believe her. How could my Betty be a human? This was unscientific nonsense, and I had studied zoology, science about animals, since childhood. Such things only happen in the movies. But films are sheer fiction. Everyone knows this. I got angry with Lana and called my father very loudly. After all, there was a thief right in front of me, and it was not clear how she entered our house. What if she had the keys, and it was not the first time she stole something from us? I heard the footsteps from the second floor, and then my father's sleepy face appeared. I turned away from Lana literally for a moment, but when I looked at her again, Betty was sitting in her place, washing her face as if nothing had happened. I had to lie to my father that I noticed someone walking around the house. I couldn't tell him that my cat Betty was Lana just a second ago. My father would definitely not have believed in such nonsense. I was not sure how he would react to this at all. That night we went to bed quietly, and the next day we remembered the situation of our nocturnal adventures in the courtyard with laughter. I looked at Betty with suspicion for the next few days, but she didn't behave strangely any longer. She became an ordinary cat again and even started eating her own food, which made me and my parents very happy. Then, 3 days later, it happened again. I woke up to a strange noise in my room and saw Lana trying to get something from under the closet. I cried out in surprise, but covered my mouth with my hand in time so as not to wake my parents. When I asked again what Lana was doing in our house, she replied that she was looking for a toy mouse that she could not get in a cat's form. At that moment, I was no longer skeptical about Betty's transformation into a human being. After all, Lana's appearance was really strange. Black hair, fur coat, and sparkling yellow eyes made her look like my cat. Then I decided to talk to Lana. I helped her get the mouse, and we sat on the bed. Lana told me that she was very old, and it was her 7th life of 9. Over the years, she changed many houses, as she was sent to shelters after being caught during transformations. Lana stopped eating because the food was tasteless. The human food was much tastier for her. Lana said that she used to transform into a girl at nights and ate from the fridge until I caught her. After that, she began to behave like a cat again, to divert attention from herself, since I still did not believe her. But then a new misfortune happened. A toy mouse got stuck under the closet, and Lana could not say this to me in the form of a cat. So she decided to take out the mouse and then turn into a cat again. Lana said she regretted that I woke up. That night, I could not sleep because of shock. Imagine, a cat that can turn into a human. I was not very happy about that because I dreamed of an ordinary pet without such features. But surprisingly, Lana's company was pleasant. That night, she told me about her 7 lives. She also revealed the secret that there were many female cats who could transform into humans like her. For some reason, male cats could not do that, but Lana did not tell me why. Lana was also fond of books. She liked to take and read them in the houses she lived at. She concealed her ability carefully, but sooner or later, she was still caught red-handed and then sent to shelters again and again. We talked until the early morning, until I heard that my parents woke up. Then Lana turned into Betty again and lay down on the bed, rolling herself up into a ball, and I followed her example and went to bed too. I woke up at noon. I looked at Betty, petted her, and said that I was looking forward to the next meeting after her transformation. But the cat did not react to my words. Moreover, she continued to sleep with her eyes still shut. I expected Betty to turn into Lana at night, but that didn't happen again. She slept peacefully all night and did not even go anywhere as usual. The next night was the same, and the rest of the nights as well. I couldn't understand why Lana didn't want to come to me anymore. After all, we became friends that night. And after a couple of weeks, I understood that this was just a dream. I decided to check this in the only possible way. So I went up to my father and asked about the night I woke him up. Everything was as expected. My father said that he didn't remember anything like that at night. And this meant that I just dreamed about Lana. I was very upset when I finally realized that. I've never had such compelling dreams, and there was some logical explanation for Betty's behavior. She really had stress because of the new place of residence. She did not eat food simply because she did not like it. As for the dream, it was the result of watching a movie about werewolves that night. My parents bought another type of cat food for Betty, and she began to eat it. More than 2 weeks had passed since that dream. Betty stayed with me all the time and didn't behave suspiciously anymore. In fact, I still continue to hope that this was all true, but I understand that this is just impossible. Have you ever had strange dreams? I mean, have you ever had the feeling that your dream wasn't a dream at all, and it was all real? Tell me about such dreams in the comments. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel.